Adgrename, Jugadgrename, Satgrename, Siri Guru Dev Ename. The default program that goes into my meditation is always check your breath. And that's set at the diaphragm. And if you haven't taken the time, lay on your back and put your fingers on your belly button, right? Your navel, and find your pulse. And press into it and feel it strongly. And if it's not in the center of your navel there or really, really close to it, you can actually find where it is and push that cluster of nerve endings over to the center. And it's a way of manipulating some of this etherical energy in a way on a biological level. It kind of, you can reset that, so to speak. And that's been my experience. So you can verify that pretty easily if you wish to do that. Little yogic tricks, you know. The real solution here is to find a way to be able to sit comfortably in your body. And that means you have to almost self-hypnotize yourself. You have to fall into that place where it's not that you're disconnecting, it's just that you're making sure your body has all the flow of nutrients and energy and, you know, whatever it needs to maintain its status. In a way, you become over-aware of the body. But then that becomes a satisfied form. You know, you've taken care of the little details, so you can sit in yourself now. You can just sit and enjoy yourself. And that gives you the possibility of creating a self that can look at yourself deeply, thoroughly. It's the self that looks at the self that looks at the self. You have to go that far deep into your own collective mind here. All the conditioned mind space, all the things that you have been told or bought into believing, whatever that is, you have to go through all of that and look at yourself directly in the mirror and say, what is this? And the problem with self-inquiry, until you stabilize the body, is that you will immediately be distracted by something. Self-inquiry requires you are able to hold your attention between your breaths. And the breaths can be really long and deep. So you have to practice this. I mean, maybe some of you have this innate ability, and if so, then great. But for myself, I had to practice this as a discipline. With the breath, the heart rate, the entire immersion into the form of yoga itself. And it's a continuing process, of course. There's an archetypical form that you represent to yourself. Focus on that archetypical form that you represent to yourself. And then try to embody it. You may be miles away from it, I don't know. But start on that pathway to embody that. The attributes, the characteristics, how that life could look. And that's just, it's just in common sense, right? This isn't a great revelation or anything, but this is a practical analog to having a pathway back into a life. They're all stories. Everything's a story. Find a story. Make a story. Participate in a story that brings you happiness. health, joy. That's the story to participate in. Do a little research. See where your personal narrative has led you. Look at it. Analyze it. Evaluate it. You can be somewhat logical about this. I mean, the emotions will always have their place in this. There's a price to pay for everything. And the price that you need to pay, I need to pay, we all need to pay, is the only coin that we have is our attention. Pay attention to yourself. Embody yourself. Whatever form of archetypical which you tend to relate to, examine that. Find a way to be that. Bring it into your body. Actually, let your body, as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, well, I'm trying to be Shiva for all, and I'm so okay. Well, then, how does that feel? I let it move through my body. I let my muscles expand and feel what that could feel like, on that biological level, because it can't just be a psychological, mind and manifestation of this. It has to be an total, encompassing vision. It's the only way this works. Otherwise, not only is duality in there, but entropy always plays a big factor in this, So you've got to make it work on a non-entropic level. That's how deep this goes. Back to primal sources here, primal coding. Way back to Ik Oankar, that far back. Okay, having fun.